So I think there are four things that matter, that connect people in dots and bring communities together. One is education. It's terribly important that you have good education and a good football team, by the way. I mean, financial contributions to colleges and universities go up when the football team wins. There's a reason for that. But so education is terribly important. Number two, right there with it, is economic development. People want to have a job for their kids and grandkids. They want to see a future in the region. If they can see that, then it changes attitudes, perceptions, pocketbooks, everything. Economic development. And so you can probably figure out, Coach, that I'm sort of a sports nut. Third is sport, because it allows people to come together and compete hard and harder. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you're able to build loyalties and passion around endeavor. And then you go home and work with the guys down the street after you beat the tater dice for the next time you grow. And last but not least, music, because it stirs the soul. So I think what we've been able to do in Texas, and particularly in Central Texas, is to bring those things together in a meaningful way, where we've combined good education, good economic development practices, strong state government in those areas, sport and music. So I know this is kind of shameless, you got it in front of me, but since I wrote it, I kind of like it. What does this mean for the rest of us? What is the value of Austin, Central Texas experience to Kansas City, Federal Reserve? The ingredients of successful economic development must include right people, a willingness to change course as technology progresses, a commitment to advanced technology-based research, a team spirit that leaves private agendas at the door, a strong university academic presence, and a passion about the intrinsic value of getting the job done. These values do not and will not change with geographic location. Educate, adapt, innovate, collaborate, find the strengths of your regional community and elevate them to new levels. Take a gamble. Risk your time and energy for the potential payoff of a solid future. The real risk is in not acting, not collaborating, and assuming that a good economy is not a product of hard work and great risk. So, I mean, I wrote that in 2004. I wouldn't change a word of it now. Now more than ever, because I think the future, while extremely bright, is it's going to be tough to stay on the horse, because everybody's envious of this place. They don't know quite what to do with us, because they see South by Southwest and things like that go off, and they're amazed. But it's just the place that we are. And I did suggest yesterday to Mayor McGraw and some of the people in Round Rock that we, since South by Southwest has become such an international event, combining music, digital media, interactive, etc., with some of the smartest, brightest people in the world here for 2 or 3 weeks, that we find a way for this region up here to be more of a participant, or some music venues this way, some interactive sessions this way. I think we ought to work in Williamson County to do that. That would be a very opportunistic opportunity. I've got a business colleague of mine from Ireland. He's 72 years old. Flew over here all night long. Went to 4 nights where he didn't sleep, and went back to Ireland. That's pretty damn good. We've got something going with it. And it's not community impact, but it is the New York Times, and they report on us every day. One plug before I take a Q&A or whatever else you want to say. There's a fellow at the University of Texas in Austin named Rob Adams. He's a venture capitalist from Austin Ventures, which is the largest venture capital firm in Texas, based in our region. He's written books before. This one is just out. It's called If You Build It, Will They Come? And it talks about markets. I haven't read it. He autographed it for me last night, so I couldn't go to the baseball game with Pete to my lament. this is kind of a little shame. I don't have any financial interest in the book, but it's up on Amazon. I like to support local authors and writers who are writing this kind of book because it says to the world that we're an entrepreneurial, innovative, creative place. Here's a guy from the university. He's running venture labs at UT Austin. So if you think well enough of it, order up from Amazon. If you will build it, Will They Come by Rob Adams. Have you seen the book? Anyway, I recommend it to you because it helps our local authors make lists that otherwise wouldn't be making. It helps us tell our story. Don, you would tell me a story, 4 little words. So I would urge you to think about that. Every way we can be in the international media helps tell our story. So thanks to Community Impact for being here today. Let me stop and say thank you to everybody. I mean, I've enjoyed being here with you and learned a lot about Hutto this morning, Chief and Coach, and I'm still looking for that time. Let me get it. And I hope you'll have me back again sometime soon. I think you've got a tremendous opportunity, as Mayor Robinson pointed out this morning, standing outside to be the next real solid Round Rock. I mean, you can be a city of unparalleled accomplishments and achievements. It's yours to do. It's sitting right in front of you. Just lean into it and go for it. Why not? So good morning, Hutto.
You want to say a couple of words about incentives?
Yeah, sure. What kind of angle are you looking for?
How do you feel about them, positive or negative?
Well, I think that I've been on every side of that equation imaginable in the last 30 plus years. I think it's clear in the competitive world that we live in today that you have to have some incentive packages for most subjects, whether it be video, electronic games, or major manufacturing facilities. You have to set some priorities and a scale about what's going to be a primary driver of jobs for the region and what that means in terms of secondary or tertiary or other employments. But I think that's scalable, and I think we get it here. We know what's important. I mean, they reseeded all this education facilities with their land. That's a terribly important incentive to get those people to come there. Cemetech, MCC, Samsung. I worked on Samsung for a long time. Went to Korea. It's the largest single investment by a foreign corporation in the history of this country. And that was not all the numbers that they were showing. I mean, they reported something like 4.3 billion. It was much more than that. So, to be competitive, to play the game, however you want to frame it, you've got to have some incentives. You've got to have some stuff in your pockets. Some in your inside coat pocket and a tie like that. to be competitive. Because it's a very competitive global economy we live in. But stopping short, at the end of the day, having dealt with all sorts of unimaginable stuff, they want to see that the people care and that they're passionate and that quality of life matters there. And so you got to have table stakes to get in the game, Mike. But after that, you've got to have passionate local people who really care about important things like education, healthcare, transportation, moving your people. I mean, I still go back to Admiral Inman, MCC, 1983. First question he asked was, how good are your schools? What are our kids going to be able to say about your schools? And what kind of education are they going to get? K through 12. Then secondly, how are you going to move your people? How are you going to get us around? If you can't educate our kids and can't move us around, we don't even want to think about being there. So those are basics, blocking and tackling that Scott faces every day. So it's incentives plus attitude plus quality of life plus commitment to the things that matter. And I think you get it here.